Hello students and welcome back to our Analyzing English video series. In this 24th video, we're going to be talking about a TV character and his journey to learn English for connection. You probably haven't heard of this show. Maybe you have. It's called Pluribus on Apple TV. And this video will have a little bit of spoilers. So if you haven't seen, watch the show if you can. I'm not going to try to divulge too many spoilers, but this video does contain some Pluribus spoilers from season 1, episode 7. But the reason why I'm doing this is to talk about this fictional character who's not an English speaker at all, but he is compelled to learn English for a particular reason, which I'll dive into a little bit more, but mainly for connection, to connect with another human being. So we're going to talk about what kind of tactics and strategies he uses in his journey to learn English for connection. And his name is Manousos, and he's one of my favorite characters on a television show in quite some time. He's a fascinating character. This particular episode, episode 7 in season 1, as I record this, it's really great. He's a deep character, very humble, very just very kind, and you want to root for him. You believe in what he's doing. You believe in his moral code. You respect his code of ethics, and given the situation him and other characters are placed in, his approach is very practical. It's difficult, though, but we're going to talk about his approach to learning English in our Analyzing English video. My name is Ben with English from A to Z, and let's get started. So, I'm not going to show this video, his journey on YouTube, but before, you have the video link here. Feel free to click on it. But it's basically a 5-minute video, beautiful video about his journey from Paraguay up to and I don't want to spoil it, but this is a little bit of a spoiler. He's trying to get to New Mexico, and he's driving his car. He's also going through jungle, and without spoiling how his journey ends up, he is taking a long journey. He's got hours, days, weeks, I believe, where he's doing this, going from his home in Paraguay to visit Carol in New Mexico. So it's a little bit of a spoiler there, but I won't go into too much reason why, but Carol doesn't speak English in the show Pluribus. Spanish, excuse me. She doesn't speak Spanish, and Manousos doesn't speak any English. But what does he do? Well, he uses these audio tapes, and you see this little screenshot I took here where he is basically saying different phrases out in English, right, to learn from the audio tapes he's playing in his car. Like, the world is big. And it's a beautiful shot because you can see the Pacific Ocean, you can see the mountains. I believe this is in Peru when he's driving through. So I want you to watch the video, understand how he learns English. What is his approach? And some questions to consider while you're watching the video. Please watch the video after you watch this video because it'll link to why I think it's so important to mimic his style of learning English, especially because in the show he could learn English with anyone in the world. And the hive mind, or the pluribs as they call them, he can practice English with them because they know every English. They have the whole repertoire of human knowledge, but he doesn't want to do that because he believes it's stolen. He doesn't want to practice English for the sake of practicing. He wants to learn on his own, which is very admirable. So some questions to consider while you're watching the video is, why do you think Manousos was so driven to learn English even when other people could have helped him learn along his journey? You know, he could have had people flown. They would have given him anything he wanted, this group, this hive mind. And I don't want to go into too many details about them, but this is a sci-fi kind of show. And also, why do you think audio tapes and repetition in terms of speaking are so useful in general for learning English? Now, I don't recommend it all the time, but if you're not going to practice with a native speaker or a good teacher, repetition audio tapes are great. Pronunciating, enunciating, basically giving yourself practice, because he can't practice with anyone because of his moral code. So he's basically repeating sentences like the world is big, or my name is Manousos, or the cat caught the mouse, stuff like that. So Manousos has a lot of time on his hands. He's got weeks. So if you had a lot of time on your hands, or free time, as we say, because time on your hands is a slang or idiom expression, which method would you choose to learn English intensively? Now, you probably could get a teacher or tutor, but if you couldn't, would you get audio tapes? Would you get podcasts? Would you listen to the language as much as possible, like Manousos? And I really want you to watch the video. Try to think of these questions in your English learning journey, because I think a lot of you at home can learn a lot from Manousos, because with limited resources or from lack of wanting additional help because of principles, he's learning English the hard way. Repetition, uh, practicing out loud to himself, and just listening, listening and repeating. It's a good practice in his circumstance. So please watch the video. It's a beautiful scene from a great show, and he is practicing English, and you'll understand it, especially as a beginner learner. Again, my thoughts on Manousos, it's kind of a tricky word. Manousos' journey is, I mentioned the hive. This is a spoiler, but not wanting to learn from the hive or from native speakers or other teachers in the world in that hive, the pluribus, the we people. Manousos is committed with his audio tapes on the drive to see the other character, Carol, who's all the way in New Mexico. So he's driving or walking all the way up, and I won't spoil that part, but it's a treacherous journey, for lack of a better word. And again, in my view, as a teacher and as the founder of English from A to Z, he effectively utilizes repetition, playing each tape multiple times on the long drive through Central and South America. He practices even when he's not actively listening to the tapes, when he's brushing his teeth, when he's cutting his hair, when he's just hanging out in his car. He is able to memorize it. He knows how important it is to himself to make time for learning English on the road so he can communicate with Carol, who unfortunately doesn't learn Spanish, even though she should. But when he meets her, he wants there to be no language barrier. He's overcoming Babel, or he's making sure there's no language barrier, which is hard to do, especially when before this point, he didn't speak any English. And again, I encourage you students to think of Manousos as a good example. He doesn't take the easy way out. He understands that learning English and traversing difficult terrain from heart of South America all the way up to Southwest United States by himself without any help will be a huge challenge, and still persists in learning and doing it the old-fashioned way. He doesn't take the easy way out, which he could. And unfortunately, you don't see this from Carol, the other character, who's very popular. I enjoy her story. You don't see this from Carol as of yet with Spanish, with the time on her hands, but maybe she'll get there in a future episode. So again, Manousos, like you all, you have a clear reason for learning English, which is why you brought yourself to my channel, our YouTube channel, English from A to Z. You, like Manousos, have a clear reason, a clear goal, a clear pain point for learning English, especially, this is very serious given the state of the world in Pluribus, which I've talked about a little bit, spoilers again, but it's a very dire state the world is in, and Manousos feels responsible for fixing it. So it's a beautiful journey. It's a great allegory about learning English, going over obstacles, going through pain points, doing it on your own the old-fashioned way with just audio tapes, memory, and a notepad. Very old-school way of learning English. And, if you didn't have the technology, you'd probably be like Manousos, playing audio tapes or CDs that still work maybe, and learning English and repeating it, practicing every day, and trying to have, basic conversations, even if you have to do it yourself. So those are my thoughts on Manousos' journey in episode 7. So thank you so much for watching. I really love these Analyzing English video series, especially when it relates to popular culture. Pluribus is the highest rated show of the year, one of the highest rated shows, and it's been watched by millions of people in the US and around the world where Apple TV is. I encourage you to watch that show. I won't show the video here, but you can go to the link that I have here. Just copy and paste, and you can watch Manousos' journey for yourself. I do recommend it. And feel free to sign up for our official English from A to Z newsletter for more videos, more blog posts, more about our products and services to help you learn the English language at www.englishfromatozcom.com/newsletter. Thanks again so much, folks, for watching, and make sure to keep expanding upon your English language knowledge like Manousos. And don't forget to consider using audio tapes like Manousos did. It's very old school, but it is a good tool for listening. And we want to improve your English language proficiency and be like Manousos, work hard, study, and remember to practice repetition here and there, especially if you don't have a partner. So thank you, everybody, and I'll see you again soon for another Analyzing English video. Take care now. Bye-bye.